And he knows it. So we just said we would just keep in touch, and that, if I had a buyer, that I would bring them. But I left it at that, since they are listed with that you know brokerage where it's they just pay that flat MLS fee.
Gotcha. Um, did he tell you anything about his goals? Did he tell you why he's trying to sell?
Yeah, so he is trying to downsize. They're trying to get out to Lake Lanier. The house is too big for them, too much maintenance.
Gotcha. Okay, well, keep an eye on that one, because the second that deal, that listing agent loses the listing, you should pounce on that.
Absolutely.
And then he'll already know who you are, because you've already showed a buyer, or you've at least gone and taken a closer look.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right, tell me some other good news, guys.
So my FSBO yesterday went really well. They've got tons of traffic on their own.
Okay.
But they are open to my photographer coming in, so I've set that up.
Awesome.
And they are moving to Pensacola, so she can work from anywhere.
Okay.
And because they're going to Florida, I just picked up a buyer because Brooke is licensed in Florida. So
nice.
We're going to help them also. Hopefully bring a buyer to them, hopefully get this listing, but also help them move to Pensacola, which is fantastic.
So who would actually service that transaction in Pensacola, Brooke? Or somebody?
Brooke, yeah, because she's licensed there.
Right, but would she go down there and let them in and all that?
Oh yeah, no, she's got contacts all over, so she can have someone let them in and do stuff. But yeah, there's times where she still has deals in Florida. So when all the COVID wasn't going in, she would actually travel down there and make sure that she would be available, or she has people who are great friends of hers who would be able to show. So it's great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good work.
Yeah.
Work. Okay, so now you're going to deliver photos, and then you're going to start marketing it.
Yep.
And then at the very least, you have a buyer in Florida and a piece of bait that you can tell the world about. And
exactly.
What more than likely will happen is that you'll have a buyer in Florida, a bunch of new buyer leads here, and a possible seller.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Talk to me about some other successes you're having. Okay, I'm just going to do some housekeeping real fast. Today at 1 o'clock is our all group session. Today from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And tomorrow we're going to have a what I'd called lunch workshop when I first put it on the calendar, although I guess we're probably not going to be eating lunch. And our guest is going to be Cynthia Bourdois, and she is going to be sharing her story as well as talking about homebuyer seminars. She's had a lot of success with homebuyer seminars, so she's going to go through kind of how that process has evolved and what her systems and tools are, and give you guys an opportunity for some Q&A. The launch mastermind is going to be tomorrow right after that from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock tomorrow, Friday. And I went ahead and posted the schedule for next week as well. I don't know if you've gotten you should have gotten the message about spring masterminds. I'll be doing spring masterminds digitally. That's on Monday and Tuesday. But we do have a orientation from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock on Monday, and the launch mastermind again from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock on, I'm sorry, orientation's 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock on Monday. Launch mastermind is 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock on Tuesday. And then we have the growth and emerging mastermind to Tuesday the 9th from 4 to 5 o'clock. And then Wednesday is bold. So, or Wednesday is bold 100. So remember, if you're planning on doing circle prospecting, please go ahead and send me the address so we can get organized on our end. And I'm putting the finishing touches on some script books and some material that you guys can review in preparation for that big day of lead generation, okay? And I'm working on finalizing our guest for the following Friday, which will be the 12th, from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So as soon as I know who it is, I will let you guys know, okay? Okay, the other day we talked a little bit about about taking one thing and working to focus on that and master that. Talk to me a little bit about what you guys have come up with. How are we going to improve just one thing and go get real purposeful about it? Did anyone kind of take that to heart and has kind of thought about a couple different ideas or maybe even implemented anything?
I'm just really staying focused on the lead gen because that is kind of like my Achilles heel. Like the one thing that I do not like is kind of just reaching out to people I haven't spoken to in a long time.
Yep.
So I'm doing really, really good with keeping up with that. So that's going to be my one thing that I just focus in on right now, because
Okay.
I think that's going to be the major thing that gets me some sales.
Okay, beautiful. Anyone else? How are we getting purposeful about our activities rather than being entrepreneurial? Morning, Heather.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm focusing on. My one thing is my calendar, because
Need more.
I do, like Chad Hyams was talking a couple of weeks ago about, you only do your calendar, anything that's over 1 week. You don't, that's not weekly. You have to schedule. You can't just block it all out. You have to look at your calendar every day and every Sunday night. So I'm being more purposeful about my calendar and arranging it like it needs to be, rather than what I want it to be. Does that make sense?
It does. So give me an example of something that kind of interviewed for their spot, so to speak, in your calendar and lost. Give me an example of something that's like historically found its way into your calendar now, and then you saw it, and then you're like, this doesn't deserve to be there.
Well, my problem is I'm allowing myself too much time to do lead generation.
Okay.
Like I can really whittle it down to 2.5 hours rather than 4 hours.
That's a great aha.
So yeah, and I would be trying to lead generate for 4 hours, and then I would not get my command hours in, my DocuSign training. I was still, up until this weekend, I was still doing things in .loop because I didn't have time to do
DocuSign.
what I should have been doing. So I've whittled my calendar down to 2.5 hours.
Awesome. So I'll give you an example. You were on the call yesterday when we were talking about this, Kathy. So I'm looking at all the numbers for May, for example. And in May, just from all the people that have reported their numbers for all the weeks of May, we spent 1,142 hours lead generating. So first of all, that is almost double our best month. Okay, 1,142 hours. Yet we only made contact with 4,734 people, 737 people, which is just a hair above 4 contacts an hour. So what that's telling me is we probably spent a lot of time in May, which is understandable, doing more sphere of influence care calls. And those calls could and likely did exceed what would a normal time frame be for a call, right? So we're spending an average of 15 minutes to get one contact. And then once we get a contact, right? So hang on, 4737 divided by 8. It's taking us 81.5 contacts in order to book an appointment on average, which is telling me that not only are we spending too much time on the phone with each of the contacts, but we more than likely, I'm thinking we're not centering those conversations around the hope that we can get introduced to somebody who will buy something or sell something, or if we're calling expireds or FSBOs, we're not closing enough, right? So normally to talk to a seller, you would need to talk to 20 seller contacts or possible seller contacts. Thank you. Thank you. To book an appointment, and buyer is 50. Guys, we averaged 81 last month. So we're spending a lot of time, like Kathy is suggesting, getting our contacts. And then when we get the contacts, we are there. I think there's some room for improvement on diverting those contacts into productive appointment setting and appointment held. Does that make sense? Okay. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
that's what tracking the numbers allows us to do, right? So we say,
And
go ahead, Kathy.
I also realized I wasn't doing, like, at night. At night, I wasn't preparing for the next day to lead generate. Like, I like calling expireds and I like calling neighborhoods. So I wasn't preparing for that. I was doing that in that 4 hours.
Yes.
Does that?
Yes.
So that slows me down. I think I was drinking too much wine and not preparing for the next day. So I've stopped that.
Well, the preparing, not only is preparing not the highest use of your time, like at some point, hopefully in the near future, you'll be paying somebody else to prepare, right? But definitely don't do it during live working business hours, right? Don't do that stuff when it would be reasonable for you to call somebody. Do that stuff before or after. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One other thing that I'm noticing when I look at the numbers is we set 71 appointments, yet we only held 58. I know there's some that like were set in May. I was just talking to somebody yesterday that set one last week and isn't going on it until this week. I get that. Tell me a little bit, are people experiencing, and does anyone want to share and maybe get some coaching on that? Is anyone having a hard time setting the expectations during the setting phase of the appointment? And then maybe they ghost you on the Zoom call, or they no show, or they continue to do the appointment, punt the appointments. Oh, maybe next week. Is anyone having any struggle with that?
I am. Like, I get the conversations and they seem like, they're going really, really well. And I start to look, I start to do a little bit of research so I can be prepared, but actually closing in, I don't like to be pushed to the back of your to-do list, where this is something that, when you reach out, I need this, I need that. Okay, great. And I stay on it, as far as getting in contact with them, emailing, calling. I try not to over bombard. So if I called on Wednesday, I may email on Tuesday and then call back again on Wednesday, and then still kind of wait a couple of days, because I don't want you to feel like you're too pressured, but I'm just not closing it the best way.
Well, so that's a slightly different discussion from that, because that's a contact to setting the appointment discussion. I was referring to setting the appointment and then having some fallout from them actually showing. Now, your discussion, I think this comment will benefit everybody. You got to get used to that, right? You are not going to be top priority for everyone, just like that they may be top priority for you. And the defense to that is the reaction, let me say, to that is not, hey, this person asked for some homes, I sent them some homes and they haven't responded in 15 minutes. Or maybe they haven't even responded in 2 days. The solution is check in with them. Hey, I really liked the third home, 123 Smith Street. What did you think about that? Just liven up the kind of re-engage the conversation, and then go flirt with somebody else. Because what's going to have to happen is you're going to have to be flirting with so many people that you can barely keep it straight in order for enough of them to want to transact with you on their time frames, combined with your sales skills, of course, to get you paid. Okay, so don't fall in love with one client. Okay, you're gonna have to have a lot of prospects in order for a certain number of clients to fall into place when you need them to fall into place. Okay, and the other mechanism to address that is just getting super clear on digging for that motivation, right? So if they're thinking about buying a home, then you need to know why they're thinking about buying a home, because you may have an opportunity to make it a bigger priority or increase the motivation, or you may flat out realize they're not as motivated as you thought, and therefore your level of anxiety around that client and your level of motivation around that client and your level of communication with that client can be, I don't want to say match theirs, but be a little higher than theirs. But if they're a 3, don't be a 12. Be like a 6, execute on every promise you've ever made to them, and then go find some more people to flirt with. Does that make sense? Heather, you want to say something? Okay.
No.
Sorry,
I didn't realize I wasn't muted.
Yeah, your picture got the green around it. Okay, so I just want to go back and redefine one thing for you guys. So a contact is a two-way exchange over the phone or digitally, like a text message or a DM or one of those kind of things, where they know that you're a realtor, essentially. Okay, so if it's a love call, right, it's a, hey, how you doing? And real estate doesn't come up, that's a contact, that counts. If it's a, hey, this is Bill Linkwald with Keller Williams, I noticed your home came off the market, click, that's a contact. Okay. The click is the don't ever call me again. That counts, because what we're trying to do is determine how many contacts we need to get these appointments so we can coach on whatever needs to be coached on. Okay. So if you're counting, that may be one of the reasons why on average we're only averaging 4 contacts an hour, because we're not counting those really quick, like, who are you? I don't want to talk to you conversations. But you're going to have to do a certain number of those in order to get your appointments, right? We got to kiss some frogs. Make sense? Okay, beautiful. Talk to me. Let's spend the next couple of minutes. Any questions thus far? Okay, let me give you one more quote, and then we're going to spend the next few minutes on a different topic completely. Okay. I heard yesterday that the biggest compliment that you can give somebody, is to say, I can count on you, right? So remember, as you're making promises to your friends and your family and your potential clients, right? If they can count on you to do something, right? To respond to an email, to respond to a telephone call, to answer questions in a timely manner, to be respectful, to show up on time. I'm sorry, I was a minute late today. That is one of the best things that you can earn, is your reputation. Okay. That also goes when you're talking to other agents, right? When you're talking to other vendors that are involved in the transaction, they want to be able to count on you. I can't even tell you how many times per day I will call somebody and either they do not have a professional voicemail set up or the mailbox is full. Completely inexcusable. Okay. And I'm looking around. I don't see any violators on this call. Completely unacceptable. Okay. You are in real estate business. There could be buyers and sellers calling you every single day. Don't have a voicemail box that's full. By the way, I may not be the right person to explain this, but I've always had Google Voice connected with my cell phone or my cell phone number. So basically somebody calls my cell phone number, and after a dial or two, Google Voice picks up and they leave a message, and the message isn't stored on my cell phone, it's stored on Google Voice. So now I have a transcribed version of their voicemail, and I can download the actual audio, and I never have to go back in and delete anything. And it's always saved forever, and it's never full. So I would look into that. Google Voice, it's completely free. Okay.
Bill?
Yeah.
Regarding the voice message, this is something I've been thinking about and trying to decide what to do because I wear so many hats. I don't want to say this is Heather with Keller Williams. Because I also have the cleaning company and I do some production work. So how do you know, and I think if I list out the different things I do, I'm going to confuse people.
I think that's really well thought out. There's a company called, I think it's called Ring Central. I don't know if it's the best company to provide the service you're looking for, there's a company called Ring Central. And for a small amount of money each month, I believe what you could do is if you give out a number, and this may be just as complicated, but like your cleaning company can have one number that's forwarded to your cell phone with one particular message. Your real estate company can have a different number that is got its own unique message and that is forwarded then to your cell phone. And somehow you should be able to identify if somebody calls you for the cleaning company, you can answer the phone a certain way, or the voicemail will say something particular.
Well, what I've been doing now is I just say, "Hi, this is Heather. How can I help you?" You know, and so I'm trying to keep it generic.
Generic would work, but if you can get professional and still accomplish what you want to, and specific, I would look into that. But okay. I think, hey, this is Heather.
Well,
fine. I mean,
my phone number has been given out to all of my stuff, so I would have to change my phone number in my database for other things. So I don't really want to create more phone numbers.
Okay, so I would just keep it vague then.
Okay.
Just keep it vague. And what you could do is your real estate people, you know, at least the people in your database, you could put them into your, really any people, you could put them into Google, for example, and then if it's saved in Google, then it'll ring with a certain ID, caller ID, and you can say, oh, Aaron, you know, Smith, he's a real estate guy, right? It won't affect your voicemail, but at least you can, like, if you wanted to add something, you know, to the effect of, hey, this is Heller with Keller Williams, how can I help you? Or something like that.
I don't know what's that called?
Look into a website called Ring Central, RINGCENTRAL.com.
But you said there was something that you can do in Google.
Oh, that's if you have, like, if I saved your name and number into my Google Drive rather than my, not Google Drive, but like the Google Contacts part, right? And you call, I know it's you. So if I recognize a particular name as somebody that I interact with respect to real estate, versus somebody who I interact with respect to a different business, then I can answer the phone accordingly if I choose to.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, one thing I want to go around real fast today. Remember, just one more plug for this. If you have not built out the MREA2 worksheet with me, please get a hold of me as soon as possible so that we can work that out one-on-one. Because what I want to do is when we're entering in our weekly goals, I want those to reflect what your specific goals are, rather than just a haphazard number that you thought would be appropriate that day. Because what we really want to do is say, okay, well, your plan requires 11 contacts a day. I need 55 a week. Am I on track? Yes or no? Or if I did 50 one week, then I got to add 5 the next week. Okay. I want to talk specifically about what you're going to do today. What is your lead generation strategy going to be today so that you can go create a client and or add some people to your database today? Donna, you're first.
What I'm trying to do is reach out to my Facebook friends and message them with a message.
What I intend to do, right? My intention is to reach out to an X number of Facebook.
What I'm going to do is to reach out to, for 2 hours, to reach out to my Facebook friends with just a general message, because I do have a home buyer seminar, a virtual home buyer seminar scheduled for June 25th. So I want to do like kind of a setup message now and then invite them to that next week.
Right.
So that's,
you could even go about the process by saying, like, I'm hosting this. I wanted to, number one, let you know, and then wanted to see if you knew of anyone that I should invite.
oh, good idea.
By the way, we're going to have a mortgage specialist on the call. We're going to have a closing attorney on the call. And of course, I'll be on the call and we can all talk a little bit about how to best prepare.
So I have a quick question about that. I reached out to Kern's office and she's not available on the date that I have planned. Is there another closing attorney that you can recommend?
Yes, I could recommend a number of closing attorneys. What I would do before I did that is call Kern and just say, since you're not available that day, what do you recommend that I do? I want to support you guys. Is there one of your colleagues that could come?
Yeah, she said she was going to check with Nikki. So
Oh yeah, perfect. Perfect.
I'll follow up on that then.
You may even have Kelly from 210 Warranty hop on for a second.
Right, I thought about that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, Jan, what's your plan today? Everyone needs a plan.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute.
All right.
I actually got a message yesterday from a couple that's coming up from Florida, and they'll be here 4th of July weekend. And so my plan for today is to talk with her and to start pulling what she needs to get ready for the showings when they come up, because they're going to have a limited amount of time that they're in the area.
Awesome. So whatever is available on that list right now for them is almost certainly not going to be available in 1 month. So that'll give them an idea of what is out there, but of course you're going to have to pull that information much closer to them.
Right, right. And also to give them an idea of how quickly things are moving in this area.
Yeah, exactly. So you send her 123 Smith Street today and it's not available in 3 days, then she knows she's going to have to be urgent when the time comes.
Exactly.
Perfect, perfect. Good job. Go to the Google Drive and look for the form that says buyer intake, and that'll give you some questions to ask as a form of a needs analysis. Okay.
Thank you.
Heather, what you up to today? What's your one thing today? All right, Pam, we'll come back to Heather. Pam.
Hey, well, a small one thing is to send out a card to a client who had a family member pass away.
No.
And the other is to do my best to get in touch with someone who has said he's going to buy a house for several months now, and I'm going to nudge him.
All right. We got a little house coming up in Smyrna, the 3-2 with the basement, 200 grand, right?
Yes, it should be finished on June 12th.
Beautiful. All right, let Pam know.
They're painting it. They're new flooring.
New flooring. Cool. That's gonna be a nice little rental for somebody, I'm pretty sure, or a nice young family or something.
Yes. I think
All right, Marinelli, what you up to today?
I am going to go on Vulcan, and I'm just going to keep working that FSBO and expired strategy, just get more familiar with it, because that's definitely something new for Michael and I.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Shauna.
I'm going to be working on Canva today, and every day I've got to take one of my listings and actually promote it on Facebook Marketplace. And that's how I draw leads also. So today is another posting, and to follow up on the leads that I got yesterday from the Lake Lanier FSBO, which I promoted, and I'm already getting leads from. So that's my goal.
Awesome.
That's what I'm doing today.
Heather.
I'm doing an FMLS training from 9:30 to 12:30, and then we have the PC group, and then I'm filling out my MREAQ before I talk to you at 3.
All right, beautiful. And who did I leave off? Ebony. You're on mute.
Yeah. So for today, I'm definitely going to do my lead gen, but I want to kind of work with my social media. So
Okay.
what I want to do is reach.
Let's get specific. You don't have to tell me right this moment, but when you sit down for the plan, if I can pick on you for just 1 second, work on social media. It's hard to know if you won. It's hard to check that off. So like, what are we going to do on social media? I'm going to direct message 5 friends. I'm going to like 5 things, and I'm going to make, I'm going to check in with somebody that I haven't talked to in 2 years, right? And when I do the lead gen, what is the result of the time that I'm going to spend lead gen? I'm going to add 3 people to my database, and I'm going to speak to 12 people today, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we
Well,
wanna
with the social media, I know exactly what I want to do with that. So it's actually going to be a 2-day preparation. So what I was going to do is, again, you involve your family. So I was going to do 3 things, like have flashcards, and it's just like, okay, well, it's 3 things. What are the top 3 things that I learned? And it was going to kind of be like a video of an interaction with me and one of my kids, because what I do want to do is show like, hey, she knows the knowledge. And also, it's going to be fun, things that are just kind of bring people in. So I'm trying to do it that way to see if I can reach out to just reach a different crowd, just trying something different.
Send us what you're working on. Let's give you some feedback and help you. Okay.
Okay.
A quick plug. Heather has started a group called The One Thing. And if you have some interest in being involved in that, please message her directly, or you can post a link if you want, Heather. The idea here is it's kind of a WhatsApp group where anyone that's interested can post their one thing for the day and then update us on how that's going throughout the day, and provide some support for those that are in the group, and some accountability for each person as well. So Heather, feel free to post the link if you choose, and I'll see you guys at 1 o'clock. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.